Hello everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we are going to learn on principles of multimedia learning. We are going to see on several concepts including cognitive theory of multimedia learning, 5 cognitive processes in the cognitive theory, assumptions for the cognitive theory, 3 memory stores in the cognitive theory, 3 cognitive processes required for active learning, and Mayer's principles of multimedia learning. By starting with cognitive theory of multimedia learning, this theory was created by Richard Mayer, who was a professor of psychology at the University of California, Santa Barbara. And this theory represents principles to guide teachers and instructional designers in the presentation of verbal and visual information for optimal learning. The 3 assumptions for cognitive theory of multimedia learning are dual channel, limited capacity, and active processing. 3 cognitive processes required for active learning are selecting process, organizing process, and integrating process. And there are 3 memory stores in the cognitive theory of multimedia learning. Those memory stores are sensory memory, working memory, and long-term memory, whereby sensory memory has unlimited capacity, while working memory has limited capacity and long-term memory has unlimited capacity. And there are 5 cognitive processes in the cognitive theory of multimedia learning, which are selecting words, selecting images, organizing words, organizing images, and integrating the selected words and the selected images. Mayer's principles of multimedia learning. By starting with principle number 1, which is spatial contiguity principle, this principle states that students learn best when relevant text and visuals are physically close together. So, as instructional designer, we have to align words to graphics that they describe or putting label close to whatever it is labeling. The other principle is temporal contiguity principle. This principle states that students learn best when corresponding words and visuals are presented together instead of in consecutive orders, meaning that animations or videos must be presented together with the narrations that are included in those animations or in those videos. Coherence principle. This principle states that students learn best when extraneous and distracting materials are not included in the learning videos. We have to remove or we have to avoid unnecessary graphics, unnecessary sounds, as well as unnecessary illustrations that are not relevant to the learning objectives. Another principle is signaling principle. It states that students learn best when they are shown exactly what to pay attention to on the screen. We have to use highlighting, we have to use zooms, also we have to use arrow pointing to the learning materials. Redundancy principle. This principle states that students learn best with narration and graphics, as opposed to narrations, graphics, and text. We have to explain visuals with narrations or text, but not both, meaning that we don't have to include narrations as well as graphics in explaining visuals. Pre-training principle states that learners learn more effectively if they already knew some of the basics. So we have to include introductory guide before the learning experience. Modality principle states that learners learn best from visuals and spoken words than from visuals and printed words. So we have to use visuals and narration instead of visuals and written text. Multimedia principles state that students learn best from words and graphics instead of words alone. So we have to include graphics as well as narrations or small text. Personalization principle. This principle states that learners learn best from a more informal or conversational voice than overlay formal voice. So we have to use conventional style or human voice style and polite words in explaining the visuals or in explaining the learning materials. Interactivity principle. This principle states that students learn more optimally if they can control or regulate the display speed of the learning materials, included in the quizzes, drag and drop activities, simulations, games, and other multimedia learning materials. Thank you everyone for your attention. Don't forget to like, comment, and share this video. See you next time. Bye bye.